I used to think tarps were just extra gear. Turns out I was very wrong, because a tarp isn't just shelter, it's options. And when you're outdoors with kids, with limited time and unpredictable weather, options are everything. But let's be clear right up front. This is not the kind of tarp you throw in the back of your truck or cover a load with. This is something different. Durable dads, brothers from other mothers, and sisters from different misters, thanks for tuning in. Today we're looking at the Hotcore Vapor 3 tarp. 10 by 12, lightweight, waterproof, packable. And it's designed to actually live in your kit, not just your garage. This isn't your heavy-duty utility tarp. This here is field gear. The kind of thing you bring with you when you're going to want some flexibility without adding additional complexity. What we're seeing before me is the care package that the fine folks at Hotcore sent to me to do a little review. So, you're familiar with the backyard content. Let's get at it. I can't wait to crack this open. All right, little secret. I have already cracked this open. Anyways, it's the first time you see it cracked open. What have we got here? Okay, first item du jour is the Comfort Air Pillow. That's pretty cool, an inflatable pillow. That's pretty great. Let's open this up. All right, on. All right, there we go. And out here you'll see that my Hotcore pack that I picked up, my day pack, my daily, my go-to is out here. So these are the things that we're going to be packing in here because these are packable items. Okay, that's pretty great. Love it. Okay, first one. Can't wait to give that a test. Rest my weary head. Okay, and there's a nice... oh, a button snap for that too. Excellent. Okay, what else do we got? D-shape packing pod, sorry. And this is small. Let's open this up. So, anyways, I can open this up a little later, perhaps, to speed this up. Okay. I'll do an unpacking after, and then we'll add that to this. Okay, and what else is in here? Another D-shaped packing pod. That's going to be awesome for going in the kit and just organizing your stuff. These are, okay, stackable, ultralight, ripstop, great protection from water. It's not waterproof, it's not a dry bag, but there we go. We will be checking these out, I promise. And here, before us, let's just, thanks for the fire starter. Before us, you will see what is absolutely the star of this show. Okay, so this is the Vapor 3 and what this episode's all about. Ultralight tarp. Okay, so this is 580 grams. Okay, so just over half a kilogram. That's just over a pound. I guess a kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So maybe call this 1.2. Anyways, this is great. This is packable. It should fold up back into this if I have some kind of skill level. And again, it'll go in there. Anyways, let's open this up. That is the first step. All right. They've got this knotted a bit, so we're not going to be able to get straight in, not a rip it open kind of deal. All right. Ta-da. All right. There we go. Okay, so this feel is very much probably pretty close to the same fabric, only this is waterproof and a little bit thicker than the packing pods. Okay, let's open it up. All right, this is obviously going to be 10 by 12, and I will give you an action shot of everything kind of opened up in the yard afterwards. But right now, let's just get to it. All right. Now, instead of grommets, which you'll see, I love this, is you've got loops. So these are positioned all the way around. So this is fantastic because you can loop through any kind of paracord or even a bungee cord, or I'm not sure what those ball ones that you kind of a loop cord or whatever, elastic cord. So if you had any of those would be perfect for this kind of reinforced system. Okay, the feel of it. Okay, so let's look at it. It's opaque. So you can see my fingers there behind it. So you're not going to have, this isn't a privacy screen. Absolutely not. However, this is a pretty great and lightweight thing to be able to have in your kit. Okay, you're going to want, I can think of a million things right off the top of my head that you could do, from keeping your gear, draping over your gear, or wrapping your gear up to keep it dry and safe, and to a fly for your tent, an extra, or an overhead encampment, and or. Okay, so this is ripstop, and you know what, it feels pretty tough. I mean, you're obviously going to be able to puncture this, so you're going to have to be mindful, but the feeling of it is great. It doesn't feel too artificial. It's nice and thin, and oh my god, it's light. Okay, and the space we're going to have here is awesome. All right, anyways, let's put this aside for a sec, and then I will lay this out, and I will give you some action of opening the rest of the stuff up. Okay? Okay, as promised. Ta-da! Okay. Now, I probably have the bag. Yes, I do. Now that I've actually taken the stuff and unpacked it and been able to put the pillow back in the bag, this gives me a really good feeling that I can get this back in this with not too incredible amounts of skill. Phew. Anyways, let's go. Just to give you a little perspective, 10 by 12, and yes, that's measured in feet. Here we go. Now I'm fixing a fence right now, so I have some material out on the lawn that I'm really trying hard not to have the cameras catch too much. But perhaps, now that you've been forewarned, I will do another quick clip of this completely unfolded. And that's obviously going to be upside down. There we go. Very nice. Very happy with this. Very happy with the construction and the weight. All right, let's fully spread this out. All right, folks, this is an exercise to give you a little perspective of what 10 by 12 actually looks like. Okay, with my day pack as a reference. Okay, so 10 by 12 is big enough to actually cover offensive fence panels that I'm going to be working on in the yard. It's big enough to pretty much cover all of your loadout camping gear in a pinch should the weather turn. It's big enough to cover yourself, and perhaps even make a nice little kitchen area or an impromptu shelter if you need to. Anyways, I better stop doing this because I'm giving away the next video. All right. A couple things to note: that the size is good. It's also incredibly light. So, you know, the littlest breeze coming up is going to blow this over. So I had to weigh it down. Another thing, that there is a big advertisement or a little bit of a warning on it that keep away from open flame. Okay, this stuff is light. It's not going to be super tough, so don't be rough with this, because at the price point, this is something that's a really incredibly handy piece of gear that you want to baby a little bit, but so worth it. Anyways, keep it away from flame. This is important. So if you're building a fire anywhere nearby, the slightest spark or something will happen and you'll get a hole in it. So be wary of that. Anyways, let's get on to bigger and better things, like testing this bad boy out. All right, a little word of warning. This is what it's going to look like when it's back in the bag. At least it will go back in the bag. I have proven this. You watched me do it. It's about the same difficulty level as probably folding a fitted sheet, which I would say is probably an 8-10. I have never been able to master a beautifully folded fitted sheet, and I'll probably never master this. However, this is infinitely packable, whatever. All right, now that we've had a look at the gear, time for a quick reality check. When you're out with the kids, or even just squeezing in a couple of hours outside, you don't always have time for a full setup. Weather can shift, plans change, energy drops. And this is where something like the Vapor 3 starts to make a lot of sense, because a tarp doesn't ask much of you. It just solves problems. So here's a use case flow. All right, a quick rain cover, shade, keeping your gear dry. You can throw it down as a ground sheet, or just creating a simple space to hang out for a bit. Okay, that's enough talking. Let's actually go and field test this thing. I think I could make that work. So for the purposes of just a simple tie off the tarp to a couple of trees, this place is perfect. They're nicely spaced. I'm backed in. Now I might have to clean out a little bit of the scraggly stuff just to clear off a little bit of a space, just to make this easier on myself. That I'm going to do now. Okay, what we have laid out in front of us is our tools of the trade for today anyway, the loadout for the build only. So what we have also, Hotcore, is the day pack. And this is what I use those packing pods for, by the way. And this is the loadout, the static cam, and the point of view in action. I'll probably be moving this over and give you a split screen on this. Anyways, this makes it really easy because I can have hands free. Okay, this is the smaller packing pod. What do we have in here? Okay, I have packed in. We're going to give you a good view. I've got some ball tie down, some ball bungees. That'll probably work for on Lou behind me. Some jute, which is always handy, but I don't think it'll come to that today. Do have some extra bungees, longer ones, just in case these aren't going to cut it. I've got the short ones in here, so these ones are going to be tying off probably to the tree. Anyways, that's kit number one. Let's go deep into the bowels to find number two, and I brought extra water in the hydration pack. All right, get out of here. This is where I probably should be using a mic with a dead cat, because there's going to be some wind noise. I apologize for this in advance. time. This is where I stashed the Vapor 3. That's going to come out. We got the pillow here just in case. I don't think today is nap day, but we got it. All right, I guess the next step would be to take these set items, start building something right there. All right, we're out here. We got Lou parked, couple of trees to work with. Let's see what we can do. Here's the plan. Just a quick overhead cover, something fast, minimal effort, gives you instant protection if the weather turns. All we need for this is the vehicle, a couple of decently spaced trees, we got that, and either bungee cords or some paracord to tie off. All right, let's have at it. All right, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that this is 5-star. And you know what, given a little bit more time, I would have thought this out and maybe positioned it a little bit better. But if you're in a pinch and you're parked near trees and the weather turns and you're in the middle of dinner or working or doing whatever you're doing, something like this is going to save you before the rains come. Okay? It just works. So what you witnessed was the kind of thing that you could set up with the kids in just a few minutes. It gets to keep them busy, and you actually get something useful out of it you can all enjoy. So here's some use moments. Just tossing gear underneath a sitting area, quick cup of coffee or a set-up kitchen area. This is what I meant earlier. And you know what? It's not about perfection, and that certainly wasn't, but it's all about having options. Lest I forget, as always, gratuitous forerunner and bad audio, yet beautiful nature footage. All right, takeaway time. So what surprised me most about this is how little effort it takes to make it useful. You don't need a perfect setup. You don't even need a ton of gear. You just need something that works when you need it. So that tarp isn't about building shelter. It's about giving yourself options. And when your time is limited, your energy is limited, that kind of flexibility matters. So a tarp, yeah, okay, it's not flashy. It's not complicated, but it solves real problems quickly. Is this something you build your whole trip around? No. But is this something you'll be glad you brought? Absolutely. For 1,000 different reasons you'll discover along the way. All right, kids, if this video helped, smash the subscribe button for more real gear tests, dad-approved setups, and field time coming your way. And as always, here's me keeping the coffee hot and the gear, well, covered. So get outside, throw the kids in the truck, and buckle up the gear. And stay capable. Peace out, Scout.